Alright, it's that time again. Developer update time. And this is a really, really good update, honestly. Rare, because they've not really been hitting the mark for a while, but this is a fantastic update, and we've only got the half of it so far. There's another part 2 to this on Monday as well. This is such a big update that's coming out. This mid-chapter patch is so big, they've had to split the dev update into 2 parts. But the first part is all about killers and their add-ons, primarily anyway. So let's dive right goddamn into it. So, they're changing killer add-ons, and it seems to be pretty much every single killer. So they're starting off with Trapper. Trapper's the one that's getting more of more than just add-ons. So like a lot of killers are getting add-ons. Trapper's getting base kit changes. Also, he's starting with 2 traps by default. He can now, well, I mean, I knew this. I'm not sure if anyone else knew this. Trapper's traps are random. He never used to spawn. He always spawned with either 4 or 6, like in that range. So either have 4, 5, or 6, and it didn't really what map you were on. So you could be on Mother's Dwelling, and you have 4 traps on the map. I mean 5 with 1 in your hand, but you'd have 4 traps on Mother's Dwelling, or you'd be on Coal Tower and you'd have 6. So they've changed that. RNG's gone. Trapper always has 6 traps. Great change. Good change. And you can carry 2 traps at default. Great change. Bag add-ons have all been readjusted to accommodate the fact that you've got 2 traps by default. Great change. New add-ons for Trapper: Tension Spring. A bear trap resets 2 seconds after a survivor steps in it. Good change, although I feel like that will just get disarmed again. Whether it rearms constantly, maybe it's impossible to disarm. You never know. It says escapes, it doesn't say disarm, so maybe that add-on will... Not sure how good that'll be. You know, it could be a thing of you just disarm it, you wait 2 seconds and disarm it, or it could be just you can't disarm them. Goodness knows. And then we've got Trapper Sack, which is all bear traps are carried at the beginning of the trial, and you cannot pick up traps. So, yeah, I mean, it does what it says in the tin. Interesting concept for an add-on. You have all of your traps, you put them down, you cannot pick them up again, period. You can rearm them on the floor, but even if they're disarmed, you can't pick them up. It seems like not a very good add-on, but definitely an interesting way of playing Trapper. Having all your traps by default and just running around the map placing traps would mean you also can't really trap mid-chase either, because that power loop would be useless after it's pulled down. So, yeah, you know, interesting add-on. More of a pre-trappy kind of add-on. Like, you wouldn't really be aggressive with Trapper with this. This is much more of a pre-trap add-on, but it's a good change. Honestly, all of this stuff with Trapper's good, because Trapper was really struggling. Really needed some QOL. Like, he wasn't a bad killer. Everyone will say at this point, he is, Josh. No, he's not. Trapper's not a bad killer, but he is a killer that is in need of some quality of life, so this is a good change. Spirit! So she's always been OP. Everyone knows this. Spirit's ridiculous. Spirit's very unfun to play against. The fact that you can just stand still and let go of your keyboard and outplay people is stupid. So they're changing it. They're changing the is she using her power or is she faking it? Well, I want to say gameplay, but it's really not gameplay. It's lack of gameplay. And no one likes it. Everyone's hated it since day one. So, I mean, better late than never, they're finally changing it. Any survivor within 24 meters of Spirit, which, for those of you that don't know, is her heartbeat range. So anyone in her heartbeat range will hear a directional phase sound that lets you know whether or not she's phasing and what direction she's coming from. So now you know where she is. I don't know if the phase sound gets louder the closer she gets to you, like it's just directional, but is it directional and it gets louder so you can work out distance, or is it just you know what direction it is? Not really sure. Although it hints, based on point number 2, I'm guessing it does get louder because her feet now kick up dust while she's phasing, so you can actually see where she is. So with the fact that her feet kick up dust, I don't know, you could argue it both ways. Maybe you're supposed to look out for the dust to know how far away she is. Maybe you can hear and you can see. There's like a visual and an audio cue. This is a great change. Honestly, nothing bad to say about this. There's still very little outplay to the Spirit, let's be honest. Even with this, you know where she's coming from, but this Probably not going to change a spirit that is good. Like, they can hear you, they know exactly where you are, so there still will be very little outplay, I think. We'll see, but I think this is a great change. I think it will make Spirit less frustrating to play against, but I don't think it will impact her strength that much, because a good Spirit won't miss still. And they've done an add-on pass. Again, probably nerfing strong add-ons, and like double range are disgusting. And they are also upping the lesser used ones. So they've got two examples here. Which is during the haunting, you can use your active ability button to return to the husk and end the haunting. That is a sick add-on. I love that. That is a fantastic add-on. I adore that. I want to use it already. Give me that. And I got a second one, which is when the haunting ends, the spirit's husk explodes and blocks any vault. Probably quite useless, I'd imagine. 4 meters is not very big, so if a spirit starts phasing next to a window, then you know. Also, who the hell stays near the husk when a spirit's phasing? Who doesn't just go to the next tile? I don't know about you, but if I'm in a jungle gym and a spirit starts phasing, I go to the next tile. So maybe we'll see about that add-on. It doesn't read as very good to me, but it might catch newer players. That could be for what it's aimed at. Background of the pig add-ons here. Additionally, they have changed some killers add-ons, so basically they're removing the garbage text from perks and add-ons. I don't like slightly, moderately, tremendously, considerably, all of that. I don't like it. I like real values. I like knowing how much my add-on does, and the devs agree. They're agreeing that it just makes the whole thing more confusing, because, I mean, on some killers, the slightly is not even the same. Like, a good example of this is Pig with Tampered Timer. Considerably reduces the timer, but then she's got a second add-on that considerably increases the timer, and they're not even the same values, so the two considerablys aren't even the same. But yeah, they've got the same wording, so I hate it, I think it's awful, but they are getting rid of it, and they're getting rid of it on add-ons for now, and they are going to extend this into items and perks as well. Fantastic change, really want to know the values on items, so they're actually doing it now. And they are also, they've gone, you know, in going through all the add-ons, removing this crap, they've changed some of the killers' add-ons. Billy, Nurse, Myers, Hag, Oni, Blight, Wraith, Pig, and Ghostface, although I'm guessing the changes aren't that significant because they've not listed them here, which means with Pig and Billy, this is not an add-on rework, this is just changing values. I'm okay with that. I think you need a full add-on pass, as you know, but for now, I mean, even getting some add-on tweaks is good. Reading the stream later when I'm going to get asked what I think of this change a million times, but, you know, we move. But it's a good change. It's a great change, actually. Really good change. Finally glad they're doing it, and I'm glad it's a lot of killers. This is a massive patch as well. This is only part 1. Keep in mind, this is only part 1 of the dev update. Perks! So they're buffing a bunch of crap, basically. There's a bunch of crap in this game, and they're buffing it all. They're not nerfing anything. This is not a nerf thing, so we're not seeing any dead hard tweaks yet, sadly. We're not seeing any pop goes to brain cell tweaks yet. This is all buffs, but buffs are good. Although you do need to nerf stuff at the top, otherwise you will create a power creep of everything getting buffed and everything getting buffed to reach the top and everything getting buffed again. So there does need to be some balance up top here. But there is no power creep happening here because, honestly, the perks that are getting changed, they're all garbage. Like, they're all hot garbage. So these are all good changes. Vigil is now 30% rather than 20. Great change. Vigil works on Broken, Exposed, and Oblivious, which is a really nice change. No, it won't work against Myers. Don't even kid yourself thinking it will. It's not going to. It probably won't work versus Ghostface either. It just won't, because that's the power. I'm assuming the power will overwrite the perk, so it won't work on Ghostface, it won't work on Myers, but it will work on stuff like Make Your Choice. So Make Your Choice has now got a counter of another perk, as it were. So it's no longer 60 seconds, it's like, I don't know. You get the idea. Guardian, or Babysitter. Guardian, for those of you that don't know, is the name of Babysitter once the Stranger Things license gets taken out of DBD, which is actually going to be next patch. This patch coming out here. This is the patch where Demogorgon goes, this perk update patch. Changing Guardian to where rescue survivors now get a speed boost as well as not leaving scratch marks or blood, which is a really nice change. And they've doubled the aura reading, which is even nicer. So again, this perk's garbage, and now it's less garbage. Same with Vigil, it's now less garbage. For the Peepo, reduce the broken timer because it was silly that you were broken for that long. Honestly, even 60 is quite a lot. It could easily be 30, but oh well. Retribution, great change again. Survivors are oblivious now with any kind of totem, not just dulls, which I think is a great change, and the aura reading is now 15 seconds. Really good change. This perk's still going to be garbage, in my opinion, just because you have to run through the hunt with it. And the problem is with this perk for me is that you don't know as killer who's oblivious. Oblivious is impossible to spot. There's no indication as the killer. You've got to just sort of check. The only way you know is if you walk up to them and then you walk up to them and they jump because they don't expect you there because you've got no heartbeat. But you don't know who it is. So some way of knowing who's cleansed your dull totem, I think would make this perk a lot better if you see their aura briefly, maybe. Like, I don't know, 5 seconds. I don't know. You get what I mean? Seeing their aura briefly, I think, would make this perk a lot better, just so that you know who's oblivious. Because oblivious really is... It's a good mechanic, but it's not explored enough in this game yet, so... Great change, but this perk isn't good enough if you ask me yet. Blood Favor is now no longer a Hex perk with a cooldown. Great change. It's now also not just basic attack only. Great change. The perk might actually be useful now, because it's garbage. It just is. This perk is garbage, but now it's less garbage. And I think you might actually start seeing it used in games now that it's got no cooldown, and that it's also both attacks. Third Seal, again, both attacks. Good change. Do worry about slugging on certain killers, only, for example, but it's a good change. I mean, no one uses it, let's be honest. I do worry about this, but no one uses this perk. Front of the Hunt is a confusing one, because with boon perks making their way into the game, more on this soon, I'm assuming the next dev update will talk about boon perks, the one on Monday. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be. A lot of leaks, well, they're actually data mines, are suggesting that the patch will have a survivor. I don't believe them, but if they do, then it'll have boon perks. So more of that, I'm assuming on... Well, we'll find out about that on Monday, but boon perks will have an extended penalty from cleansing and blessing as well, so I'm assuming survivors interact with totems based on this, and then they bless the totem and it becomes theirs, and they get a perk assigned to it. I'm assuming, from reading this text, there will be boon perks, and then I'm assuming a survivor has to interact with the totem to activate their perk, and either that, or killers have to remove the blessing, and I can do it quicker with Thrill of the Hunt. One of the two things. But interesting change, good change, even though we don't know what boon perks are, great change. Items and character kill switch, basically, TLDR, game's bugged, and they've added a system where they can disable everything, not just maps, which is great. Destiny 2 does this with their weapons, so Telesto breaks, which is the gun in Destiny. Telesto breaks all of the time, like really all of the time, and they're doing this. They disable Telesto and fix it, or, you know, some other subclass in Destiny breaks, like a super or a grenade breaks, a grenade ability. They disable the abilities and the supers while they're fixed. Same thing here. If a killer breaks, they can disable the killer. If an add-on breaks or a perk breaks, they can disable the perk, the add-on, or the killer. Great change. Again, will make the game much easier to stream and play while it's broken, because it really is frustrating to play this game while it's broken. And so having the broken stuff disabled will be a big help, especially for me as a streamer, but for everyone. It's just a great change. And that's part one. Honestly, normally I've got a lot of negative stuff to say here, but honestly, there's nothing bad in here at all. Maybe this isn't changed enough, but that's not really... Like, the change is good, it's just better. Do wish they went into detail with these, but I'm assuming it's little details, hoping that tamper time has been nerfed. By the looks of things, it's not getting taken away, which sucks, but I'm hoping they've reduced it to like 15 or something like that. Or well, not 20. It'll probably be 20, won't it? But hopefully about 15. Hoping that they've tweaked with like videotape and stuff, because that's quite strong. Potential, I don't know how much they're willing to do with this. Like, I'm assuming it's just gonna be value tweaks. So I'm not sure how much they could do with a value tweak, or, you know, so honestly, I'm trying to think now of what add-ons they could tweak with values. Creative Gears is another one they could very easily tweak values on, because that's insanely strong, it just is. And then they could buff Amanda's Letter up a lot, because that add-on's garbage. They could even buff up the debuffs it has, so it could be less of a penalty using it. A lot of stuff they could do, even with it just probably being value changed. I mean, it might not be. There could be an add-on. They could have, I don't know. They could have given us some add-on. God knows. But I'm expecting, expectations are low, and then I'll be impressed. I'm expecting value tweaks. I'd say keep your, everyone's gonna freak out about this, and I'm gonna get 100 messages on Discord, I can already tell. Keep your expectations low. Because I mean, I say low, even value changes are great, but keep them not low, actually, a better word. Keep your expectations realistic. Okay? Keep them realistic. While our designers were going through the hundreds of killer add-ons, updating their descriptions, they noted down a few changes. Keep your expectations realistic. They were doing this on the side while changing the descriptions of this. So keep your expectations realistic. It's more than likely tweaking numbers in the code, because anyone could do that. It's really easy to just change a number. So, yeah, good changes. Keep them realistic. Hopefully they'll do some add-on changes of rarity, potentially. Don't know how easy that is to change. Myers might be finally getting the correct add-on ratios. So maybe they could do some rarity tweaks on other killers as well. Pig as well. Nurse, they could tweak hers, because hers are garbage. There's the odd, you know, the range add-ons, but a lot of the nurses are garbage, so, you know, good stuff. I'm excited to find out what happens with this patch when it goes live, and I'm excited for what Monday is going to be with their other dev update. Let me know what you think of all these changes. This is a significant mid-chapter patch we're getting by the looks of it, and let me know what you think. I'm all for this. I don't think there's a single thing here I don't like. I'm all for it. I am all for this. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment about what you think, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one, everybody. Later.